Welcome to WholeCEO with Lisa G. I'm the best-selling author of The Boss Weight Loss. I'm bringing you the top tips to be unstoppable. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to actually pull up a chair with today's top experts in mindset, weight loss, business, and more. Learn our top tips so that you can have more energy, be fit and resilient, feel unstoppable, unshakable, and unbreakable. He was born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona, graduated the University of Arizona with a bachelor's degree in media arts. He's the director of international sales at UPS and works in the community as a candidate for Santa Monica City Council for the upcoming November 2022 election. I'm so thrilled and excited to welcome to the podcast, literally my neighbor in Santa Monica, Troy Harris. Welcome to WholeCEO with Lisa G.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Yes, literally neighbors. I feel like I can look through the floor and see you right now. We're like right next to each other. How's it going?
Great. Really, I'm so happy to have you here. I'm so excited for the upcoming election. So let's jump in with the content for our viewers. Why is it important that we need to hold on tight to our mindset?
The important thing about holding on tight to your mindset is that people will unintentionally or intentionally kick you away from your mindset all the time. And
Right.
you need to know, like, there's nothing stronger than your ability to believe. So continuing to believe through those tough times is what makes it so able for you to be unstoppable, because as long as you believe in your mindset, then nothing can take you away from that, because you have the dignity and the right to believe exactly what you want to believe, and nobody can take that away from you.
That is such a timely topic. I mean, this is why I launched the podcast, to help people be unstoppable in these disruptive times. And I love talking about having a bulletproof mindset. And for me, it's something that I have to work on every day. Is it something that's a daily practice for you too?
Oh yeah, you can veer away from it, and that's the unconscious mind talking and letting the world seep in. Like, you've had failures before, it might happen again, but as soon as you gain consciousness of those thoughts, that's when you snap back into your mindset. You're like, no, I'm going to believe, I'm going to think positive, I'm going to know that that failure was a lesson, I'm going to apply it to the future. So I'm going to get back to my mindset, which is the important point that you made earlier.
I love it. Okay, so why also too do you believe, to be unstoppable, that we need to treat everyone with dignity?
The importance of treating everyone with dignity in terms of being unstoppable is, some people are going through things and you don't know what they're going through. And to be able to pause and not react in a way that seeks revenge or punishes them for their behavior, but says, I'm going to let them have a moment to figure this out for themselves. And that prevents you from stooping to a lower level than your own standards. So being able to, like, treat them with dignity and give the patience and grace for them to perhaps find out what they're looking for and the lesson that they need on their own. That's what you take to be unstoppable and prevent you from being somebody that you don't want to be.
That's a lesson that's taken me years to learn, is just that gap, that space between a stimulus and a response, is where you just sort of realize that you don't know what's going on with that other person. And if I could turn back time and just ask somebody before an emotional reaction, are you okay? I think it's really like, hurt people do hurt other people. So it's really about treating everyone with dignity as a leader and as an upstanding person in your company, your community, your family, and your friends. Because it's so true, right? We just don't know what they're going through.
Yeah, and the key word I think you said was leader, because you may think as a leader, you know exactly what they're going through and you know what worked for you, and this is how you overcame it. This is who put you in your place and taught you the lesson that you know. But no, as a leader, you do take a step back, you set that gap, and you allow the other person to find it on their own. And maybe it is asking, "Are you okay?" Or maybe it is just saying, "Thank you for your time, and I hope you have a great rest of your day." And allowing that separation, because they may know, they may figure it out, or they may hurt more people until they figure it out. But somewhere along the line, you not being the reason that set them even further down their path, and you with it, is the reason that they are eventually going to figure it out.
I hope you guys are taking this in because this is such a big life lesson to not take on other people's emotions and not have to react. And sometimes people will be pissed off. They're like wanting that reaction, that emotional reaction. This is you taking your power back and treating people with dignity at the same time, right?
Yeah, I've heard it said silence. It's often misunderstood, but never misquoted. That that quote like shook me. I was like, wow, because you're not really doing anything wrong by being silent. That's your right. And perhaps that is the best response in situations where you want to seek revenge and like set somebody straight, but being silent is allowing yourself to not be misquoted, to be doing the response that you want, which is not giving them the response that they're looking for. And when they do that, they make you do what they want, they win. So don't let them win.
I couldn't agree more. And believe me, I have done this the wrong way. I have had to learn in relationships and in life the hard way that they're wanting that response. And it's in your power to take your power back, not respond, and just be empathetic, because a real leader in this modern world, in these disruptive, uncertain times, we have to have empathy for others, and you just don't know what they're going through. And then also, how important do you think it is to know your purpose?
It's so important. For me, that was what changed my life. And I had an aha moment when I was looking through Martin Luther King and his speeches and him talking about injustice and how it leads to crime. And if you are able to get rid of injustice in societies, then people will do less crime because they'll have all the services that they need, which is just what justice is. And that's why they say no justice, no peace. It's not just a fancy slogan and a catchy saying, but it's really the step-by-step process. You get justice, you have peace as the following step. And I found that that not only applies to a society, but as an individual. And if your mindset is full of injustice, like you're victimizing yourself and you just have poison in the mind, and you fix it and say everything is a gift, it's going to make me able to grow, and or it's going to hold me back from growing, and I get to choose which path, and I'm going to choose the path of growth. And having that mindset, it disallows the steps that are full of crime as a person. So you get rid of your addictions, you get rid of your dependencies, you get rid of everything that as a society you see criminality as your own self. It may not be a crime against the law, but it's a crime against your own personality and who you were meant to be. And that was my aha moment. And I felt that nobody knows this. Like, I might be the first person to realize this, apply the form of justice of a society to justice of a person. And I wrote a book about it. It's called I Feel Good About Me. And it involves my story of moving to LA and finding my way. But it really has a nugget in there that talks about the coming to this mindset and laying out the mindset specifically. And that's when my purpose really became what my life was all about. Now I'm all about justice and about applying it as a person, as the people I come across, as a community. That's why I'm running for city council. And it really is why I do go out of my way to do good for the greater good on behalf of the human race, to find justice for all.
Well, there couldn't be a timelier time in our history after what we've been through here in Santa Monica. I remember just being fearing for my life with all the riots, and it was just like on the heels of 2020, and you just are sort of like waiting to see what's next. So how are you applying your purpose towards justice right now to help others be unstoppable?
Well, we went through that together. We were probably both in our apartments hearing the helicopters going overhead and watching on the news, and it was a really tough time. And you can exaggerate and call other moments tough times, but that was like a life-fearing tough time.
I was really
And
scared. I'll be honest. I put like a little YouTube barking on my dog barking on my YouTube, and I was hoping that would scare people away from coming at me.
yeah, you didn't know who was gonna run and open the door, and yeah.
I was
So
really scared.
and it's good to talk about it because you may think the opposite, but I think having that ability to open up and feel safe to speak about your fears is really healthy to get it out. And that way you don't have to be ashamed of knowing that you were scared. I was scared. So I'll just be frank with you. But I know in that moment, because that's what led me to the finding of the purpose, that it was important. And it's important for me, to clarify, hey, some folks were out there protesting against police brutality and peacefully, and other folks were opportunists, and those weren't the same people. And I just feel like it's important to be a person of my own right and personality and just do what I can do to be the best person I can be and set an example moving forward. I can't control the past. I can't control the people that did wrong in that time. But what I can do is be an example and be a leader to answer your question and just help out from this point forward. I didn't go out and protest because I felt that I want to work on myself first and then be in a position to help do greater help in a degree of leadership as opposed to one person amongst many in the streets. And because I know that I'm a smart person, I'm capable, I can speak well, I can convey a message. But once I got what message I needed to share, and I needed to work on finding that. So over the last 2 years since those riots, I've been working on that. And I just, every moment I'm feeling weary and tired and don't know if I can do more. I think about justice. I think about justice being the righteousness and being fairness. And you don't get a reward without the work, typically. So I know that if I sleep through and sleep in and don't do the work, then I'm not going to get the reward. And the people that need to hear my message, they're going to go on suffering. So it's too important to sit by and let it go by. I need to get out there and speak to people, whether it's children, like I volunteered at the Santa Monica Boys and Girls Club, whether it's adults, like every time I give a speech, it could be anything, but I just need to be able to do the work, and that's justice to me.
I love your version of what justice is and how people can be unstoppable by realizing there's somebody that needs to hear your message that you want to share. So when we're afraid to be a public speaker, which is a big fear of mine a long time ago that I pushed through in the last 6 years, I mean, it was a big fear of mine for a long time. But when I look at it as maybe there's somebody that I can help with this message instead of how am I going to look? How am I going to sound? Who are the haters going to be? So when you make it about what your purpose is and sharing it with others, it's just greater than the vanity of this is hard.
Yeah, 100%. Like I have the same fear, and I stammered before, and still I know it. And I went through Toastmasters for a couple years because I knew eventually I wanted to do more. I felt like I was destined to do great things, and so I knew that I'd have to overcome. So it does take working on it. But yeah, if you make it about your purpose, then you forget all about the things that are holding you back and that could prevent you from looking your best. It doesn't have to be perfect. And amongst my friends, I was typically the guy who was like Mr. Wannabe comedian and crack jokes and never take anything too serious. And I was like worried that it's going to conflict with my personality if I really spoke from the heart. But all that stuff goes aside. It's a level of growth when you're able to overcome that and really truly bring value to people's lives. That's what it's about. And it becomes your new personality. And whoever you thought you were was just a step along the way that has value, but it's not who you're going to be. And you get to choose who you're going to be.
So being a servant leader is just about putting aside all of our stuff and what are people gonna think and just how can I serve? What message do I have? Anything else you want to leave our audience with about being unstoppable?
Service, like you said right there, being a servant leader, lead by example. People aren't going to buy what you say if you don't even follow your own advice. They say change starts at the home, and I believe the home is your own temple, the body. So make the changes that you want to see in your own life, and then once you're at a good place, spread it to the community around you. Great job, Lisa. Thank you for having me on this podcast. I really appreciate you.
Thanks for being here, Troy. Where can people find you?
You can find me at troyharris.com. It's my name.com. No simpler way than that. You can find all about my platform and my beliefs on there. So please do visit troyharris.com.
Thanks, Troy.
Thanks for coming to WholeCEO with Lisa G. After over 20 years helping people lose weight and get fit, I'm so excited to announce that I found the missing link with my coaching. Message me if you want to learn how to look better, feel better, and go faster with a master. Lisa G at lisagfit.com.